In studio with me to discuss how the City of Johannesburg plans to stay competitive when faced with various challenges is Mayor Parkstow. Thank you so much for your time. Being competitive, that is something that you obviously are focusing on and wanting to make sure that you are able to reach certain targets. But I'd like to talk about Josie at Work. Exactly what is it? Is it a particular program you put in place to help you achieve those very objectives?
Thank you very much. For us today has been an important milestone day because it is the first set of work packages that were issued in terms of the Josie at Work initiative. We, in September last year, launched a program titled Josie at Work. The intention was to enter into contracts and relationships with community-based enterprises to provide municipal services, and through that create a cadre of local entrepreneurs that would be able to grow at the back of municipal contracting. Since then, we've been working on a program of ensuring that we're able to procure the first set of work packages from these community-based enterprises. We have since registered more than 6,500 enterprises. These would include cooperatives, they would include PTY, LTD companies, and essentially enterprises in communities where people are able to participate in the work that we provide as the City of Johannesburg, and at a much smaller scale to enable us to incubate and support enterprise development in our communities. Yeah. These are supported by what we call capability support agencies, and the role of our capability support agencies would be enterprises that are there to create capacity in communities, to create a support system, whether it's from the point of view of preparing a tender, to doing bills of quantities, to invoicing, to cash flow management. It's about the entire business value chain and saying to companies, this is how you contract with government and this is how you contract with other service providers that you would want to engage in. And we see ourselves almost as a platform for incubation of local small enterprise. We're cognizant of the reality that for us to grow our economy, we need to create a much larger pool of small enterprises. One of the key challenges that the Johannesburg and South African economy has faced has been the reduction in numbers of jobs created by small enterprises, and this being replaced by jobs created by large enterprises. Reality is the international trend is about creating small enterprises that create more jobs and more opportunities for people. And this has given us almost a platform to incubate and support these enterprises in the city.
These enterprises are going to need energy in order to survive. What is the City of Johannesburg doing in order to ensure that we are able to have good service delivery on that front?
Well, in the first instance, it is a relationship that says you have a responsibility to provide services to the municipality and by extension to the community of Johannesburg. It is about improving the quality of services and improving governance at a local level, because we have regional forums where these meet with the departments of the city, with the capability support agencies, and with other enterprises, and we're able to hold each other accountable for performance. And this is really about a platform where people can participate openly and objectively. They are able to hold those that have been given services accountable, and they are able to enable us to grow a new set of opportunities for the next batch of people. Remember, a municipality does a lot of things. We have a fleet management contract, so we've said to our fleet service provider, can we have basic mechanical and maintenance work being done by local enterprises? And they've agreed to create opportunities for local enterprises. There are opportunities in the energy sector. There are opportunities in the waste management sector. So across the entire role and function of the municipality, would be able to create these enterprises that would be able to provide services, and have partnered with both private sector entities through the business place, but also public sector agencies such as the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, for them to provide financing, business registration, and a whole range of other services that are needed for enterprise development.
So dialogue here is obviously very key. Let's talk about those opportunities in the different sectors, and still sticking with energy. We're seeing a lot of smaller homes, or large or small, moving off the grid. And by them moving off the grid, it means they're no longer dependent on energy from the municipality or ESCOM. So what does that mean in terms of the municipalities being able to collect that revenue from these households who have gone off the grid?
Well, for us, in fact, we've given City Power the mandate to present a business case about how you reposition City Power, taking into account the reality that we need to reduce energy demand, both for purposes of reducing demand on the current grid, but also so that we're able to contribute towards the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions as the City of Johannesburg, as part of a global play of municipalities that want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. That implies that we need to reposition ourselves and our electricity distribution entity into an energy entity that's able to take advantage of new opportunities in these new enterprises that are created, whether it's about waste to energy that we're currently involved with, whether it's about creating through what is called the Blue Economy Initiative, creating energy by taking advantage of in-pipe turbines. There's a technology where you're able to install turbines in the pipes that distribute water, and you use the pressure as a mechanism of generating energy. And the technology we've looked at suggests that you can create up to 2 megawatts of electricity per kilometer. So it's a new sector. It's about repositioning the city and being a player, as opposed to thinking about ourselves as an electricity distributor, but saying we're now an energy distributor. We're now playing in the space of energy, and through that also create opportunities for local enterprises. We're bringing international technologies into the country, but we're not going to commercialize them. It's commercial sector that's going to commercialize them and take advantage of the commercial opportunities that come out of this.
So the revenue knock won't be that significant. You are focusing more on being able to reduce carbon emissions and being part of the renewable space, as opposed to concentrating so much on revenues that may be knocked because of that.
We announced in our State of the City of 2014 already that we're repositioning City Power into an energy company. It would look at gas, it would look at solar, it would look at different energy platforms to be able to generate opportunities for them to distribute energy throughout Johannesburg. So we've said, instead of limiting ourselves to what we do and not be able to keep track with the rest of the world, let's reposition ourselves so that we don't say the municipality is placed at risk because of the new opportunities that are emerging, but have positioned the municipality to take advantage of this and to be a conduit through which you are able to facilitate enterprise development and the entry of new technologies into the city.
Mayor, living in Johannesburg, one of the things that I hear about all the time, day in and day out, is traffic, getting from one place to another, making sure that we have a transport system that works. And obviously this is a big factor in terms of competitiveness. If you take an example of the Western Cape and you look at Johannesburg, how far are we in reaching that standard in terms of efficiencies?
Well, let me start by saying that if you drive in Sandton, you would know that we're doing work in Sandton with regards to installing and implementing the fast rapid transit system. Together with provincial government, there's been the rollout of the Gautrain, certainly the only such service that you have in the country that's about moving people at faster, more reliable speeds through a rail system. And the idea really is about focusing people on changing lifestyles with regards to mobility. In fact, next week we'll be launching what we call Eco-Mobility Month, focusing our energies on Sandton and saying Sandton is the platform from which we need to rethink our relationship with mobility in our city. Reality is that Sandton is reaching extremely high levels of congestion. It's growing at, traffic is growing at an average 3 to 4% per annum. So unless we do something decisively now to change the situation in Sandton, we're only going to get ourselves into a parking lot over the next 10 to 20 years. And we've decided Sandton is a critical focus area, and that's the implementation of the fast rapid transit system. But also it's about changing mindsets, and that's why in October when we launch, when we will be undertaking Eco-Mobility Month, we're focusing that energy in Sandton, because this is really the commercial heartland of the country, not just of the city of Johannesburg, but of the country. And we need to make sure that Sandton functions optimally. So next week when we launch, we'll certainly invite CNBC to be part of the launch so that we can all talk about different mobility in Johannesburg and changing our relationship with mobility and reducing our dependence on private vehicles.
Thank you so much. Certainly looking forward to the Eco Mobility Month, making sure that our guests are able to get to studio. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. That was Park Stau. He's the mayor of the city of Johannesburg.